Welcome to Film School Friday. I'm Corey.
I'm Bill.
And together,
we are recording in front of a live studio audience. We're the In Focus podcast, and we are not in front of a live studio audience. We have an empty couch in front of us.
Oh, well. Film School Friday is our special weekly episode where I get to quiz Bill to see how much knowledge he's retained from his many years of film school.
Yes.
All four of them.
All four of them.
All four of them. And today, Bill, we're talking about locations.
Yes.
Location scouting, location securing a good location. What does it take to find the right location for your next shoot?
Locations, honestly, it can be daunting at first because you have a script or a treatment that has, specific needs that are called out, like I need a bar, I need a loft that has a view of the city or something like that. And then finding what is in the script or the treatment that exists in the world that you can actually use, which to me as a director, it's kind of fun in a way. It's a fun challenge. It's like a scavenger hunt, to find the right location, because not only does it have to fit whatever the vision is for the director, writer, or whatever it might be, but also it's got to be a place where you can shoot practically and also get permission to shoot, within a reasonable budget or with reasonable resources.
That seems important.
Yes, it is. And so if you have a location manager who's doing the scouting for you, I mean, that's their whole job is to, we joke about the word Rolodex, but, they have like a Rolodex of locations they can pull from depending on what the need is. And a lot of times they'll already have the right connections. They'll be connected with the local film office. They'll be able to secure places, have the right forms, the right questions to ask. Locations, for me as a director and as a DP, I think it's very important that they are visited on site by the director, by the DP. I always bring the DP with me when I'm the director to go to locations because, you can see a lot of pictures of a location online, and there's a lot of great websites out there that cater to booking locations that have great pictures, but until you actually go and experience the space, I don't think you can truly know what you're up against. And the reason I bring the DP along is because I think it's important for them to think about their shots and think about lighting. And you can talk through those things with them on site, find out where the power is, all the little practical things you have to think about. Where can people load in? Where can we stage everything? There's so many things to think about. It's so important to be there on site. A lot of times that's hard when you maybe book an Airbnb that you can't exactly go and visit. I know one example of this is the short that I DP'd on, you directed, The Devil You Know. It was an Airbnb, right? It was the space we used, the loft.
Yep. And to be clear, we also got permission from the owner to film. Like, she was kind enough to sign a location release and the whole 9 yards, but it was still very much booked through Airbnb. Mm-hmm. We only had it for the night. It was definitely just a loft downtown.
Yeah. And so we saw a number of pictures and we were like, this is great. This is the space we want. I don't remember if we got a floor plan or not.
We did, yeah.
The problem with that is Airbnbs are booked a lot of times until you actually, it's your time to be in one. So there's no like going and scouting the location or taking a look at it in person, which is a challenge. So we didn't have that luxury on this shoot. And so we experienced the location for the very first time on the day of shooting. And because of that, we weren't prepared for how small the space was.
The pictures made the loft look much bigger than it actually was.
Yes. When you shoot on a wide lens to do location shots, it can be deceiving.
Yeah.
And so the space was a lot smaller than we expected. I was a little bit thrown off by the room configuration when we got there. So lighting and camera, although we had planned and had a shot list ready, we had to rethink a few things in order to pull it off. And so that's not something that's ideal. That's not something you want to run into. So that's why I say I recommend definitely go on site before you show up on set. because it can be a surprise sometimes. And like you said, with location releases, that is very important. You want to make sure you get releases signed, because you're being trusted to bring gear, bring people, bring all this stuff into this space. And you want to make sure you got the proper paperwork that says you can be there, because, you know, a lot of stuff could happen. Things could break.
Yeah.
You know, there's liability you've got to take into consideration. And, you know, depending on the size of the place, there's insurance that's involved. And that's a whole nother thing you have to deal with. But do it right. Don't run and gun and shoot someplace you're not supposed to. I did a lot of that when I was a teenager and into college, and I don't recommend it. It's thrilling, but the run and gun, the literal running from the cops with a camera is not what you want to do. So I don't recommend that.
Now, what if let's say, you have maybe an out-of-state shoot, or maybe you're a filmmaker coming into town. Are there resources other than Airbnb that could be of benefit when it comes to sourcing like the right location?
Oh, yeah. And there's benefits similar in-state, if you're shooting in-state where you live, is your local film office. Every state's got one. We, obviously being in Nashville, deal with the Tennessee Film Commission the most. They're great. You know, that's one of the things they do to serve the industry here is, help you out with locations, help you get permits. That's a big thing that the film office is. That's kind of their gig, is getting you some permits. So in addition to getting location releases, you do need permits, especially if you're shooting on the street. You're not like actually in a private property. You're out in the public. Right. We had a shoot years ago on 21st Avenue, right in front of Fido, Hillsborough Village. That was kind of city land. So I had to go to the film office and get a permit and tell them exactly from what intersection to what intersection I was shooting at.
Yeah.
And it's literally just a certificate that says I'm able to shoot this day. So if the police ask you what's going on, you're good.
Show them the paper.
Yes. So if you're shooting in another state, you do the same thing. You contact their film office, and they really help you out a lot of times. We've had experience with some. I've worked with the Louisiana Film Office a couple times, and they've been really great. You've worked with the Virginia Film Office, and they were great.
Which was amazing.
Yeah. Like a lot of these states, they want people to come film there. And so they're more than willing to help you secure the locations you want.
Yeah. What I really liked about like the Virginia Film Office was
they gave us T-shirts.
Other than that was really cool. We got like a private guided tour of the abandoned prison before she left us for the day. But like, as obviously I could not be on the ground to go and scout all these different locations, but I shared with her exactly what the treatment was, what the idea was for the video. And she sent me several locations to take a look at and provided just a ton of insight around what would and would not be possible within each one of them. For a couple of the privately owned areas, she gave me the contact information of the owner to reach out and continue the dialogue. But then she was also, to your point, like really clear on permits that would or would not be needed. And surprisingly, in Virginia, she gave us the okay to film anywhere on public city land as long as we had a crew of 3 or smaller, not including talent, and as long as we weren't blocking any traffic or foot traffic. It's like we could film in the middle of the road. We could film basically anywhere because we were just a crew of 2 plus talent. But I would have never known that had I not engaged her. And we probably, in several of those scenes, several of those shots around town, in my mind, probably would have been a little anxious. Like, all right, let's wrap it up. Let's get the shot. Let's get out of here. Mm-hmm. But I think she helped just ease that production concern of like we're good, we're clear because of the size and the scope. So,
and that goes back to not doing it in a guerrilla way, because you really do relax a lot just from having that certificate that says the state of Tennessee says I can shoot here, or whatever state it is. It's a weight off your back for sure. You can kind of relax a little bit because you are legally allowed to be shooting where you currently are.
Worth it.
Yes, it's absolutely worth it. And honestly, depending on where it is, I can't speak for everything, but you know, there's usually a small fee associated with a permit, and it's not that bad. First time I got a permit to shoot in Nashville was when I was in college. I had no money in college, but it was like $30.
Yeah.
It cost $30 to print the certificate off, I think. And, you know, easy.
I wish we had more national parks here because, you know, those were recently opened up for smaller productions.
Really?
Oh boy.
That.
Yeah.
Very
We should
nice.
shoot a short in Joshua Tree.
Yes. Let's do it.
We're headed. All right. Awesome. Bill, thank you as always. A wealth of knowledge. I feel a lot better about figuring out my next location for sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. And for our listeners, please check us out on Instagram at InFocusPod. We would love to connect with you, or online at InFocusPodcast.com. And if you like what you heard today, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're on Apple Podcast, please leave us a rating. It would help us out a ton. And until next time,
Add us, subscribe, ring that bell, and feed your crew.
all those things.